Hey everybody, what's up? Brad Hussey here from freelancingfreedom.com. I'm excited to do today's office hours live. It's Thursday, December 20th, December 20th. And we are doing our weekly office hours. So I'm excited for this. I just want to say hi to everybody. Hey Aaron, hey Alea, Sujan, how's it going? Basically how these work, for anyone who doesn't quite know, is this is for freelancingfreedom.com, the students of freelancingfreedom.com, but we do publish the broadcast live to the public so that we can kind of spread the word with Freelancing Freedom, hopefully add value to lots of people. But the questions come from the students at freelancingfreedom.com. So it's kind of like a weekly coaching session, live Q&A, answering questions about freelancing, business, life, the course, and whatever it is that the students at freelancingfreedom.com want to know, what it is that they want to talk about and have their questions answered. So without further ado, I'm going to pull up the type form, which is the form that I request the students fill out to ask their questions. Of course, you can ask questions right here in the live stream. That works fine as well. But I've got some queued up. And also, if at any point during this live stream you want to ask a question, do not hesitate to ask your question using the form in the description of this video, this live stream, or just right in the comments section. So I'm just pulling up those results right now. I can see people here commenting and chatting. It's nice to see some familiar faces. I am excited to answer some questions. Looks like we only have about 3 questions submitted so far, but I would love to see some more questions because, of course, I know you guys have questions and I want to answer them. All right. So let's jump in. The first question here says, how do I join the Slack channel and Facebook group? That's the very practical question. If you are a part of the course, freelancingfreedom.com, then you have access to it, or you should be approved. So you said that you sent email requests. Send me a personal message in Slack. Actually, you can't because you're not in Slack. Okay. Maybe let us know, because we do our best to let us know who you are, because we do our best to approve everybody who's in the course. You said that you've sent email requests. Also, check your welcome packet. When you joined Freelancing Freedom, you were sent a welcome packet, an introductory email that gave you all the resources that you needed to join. Also, in the opening lesson, the opening module of Freelancing Freedom, you will see instructions on how to get access to the Slack workspace in the Facebook group. There's a link there that takes you right to the Facebook group. You can request to be added to the group in Facebook, and we will cross-reference and to ensure you're a student, and then we'll approve you. It's as simple as that. As for the Slack workspace, if you have the direct link to join, which is in your module, introductory module of Freelancing Freedom, if you click that link, you will be on your way and you will be added instantly to the Slack workspace. So that's the first question, and there's the first answer. Here's another question from Marcus. Marcus asks, how do you handle distant clients and working remote? Or do you just work with local businesses? What's your workflow for distant clients? Good question. This is basically a question about when you start your freelance business, your consultancy, do you only focus on local clients in your immediate area, or do you work with businesses who are remote, or both? And how do you do that? To directly answer your question, most of my clients are remote, distant. And by remote, I mean not in the same city as me. when I was exclusively taking on client work, most of my clients were not in the same city as me. I was pretty location independent for the first formative years of my freelance business because it gave me a lot of freedom to travel and explore, and I really soaked in that location independent sort of lifestyle, I guess you could call it, which allowed us to, travel to different places across Canada and go on some long extended vacations while still being able to work. So my clients were always remote. So communicating with them in terms of my workflow and distant clients, it was communication through email or phone. And I haven't met most of my clients face to face. Now I did and do have some local clients, but I live in a particularly small town, and I don't necessarily need to have clients locally. Depending on what your business is, local clients might be your target, but that's why it's important to know who your audience is, who your customer is, and who you are serving. That's key in any business. And then you could know, are these customers or these clients, are they local, or are they all over the world? Or are they in a different, are they in a different state or a different province or a different country altogether? So those are things to ask. So to keep it simple here, Marcus, you are free to work with whomever you wish, but you need to understand who you want to work with and then get to work finding them. They might be local or they might be remote. The great thing for us is we have access to the entire connected planet. We don't have any mediators in between us. We don't have any third parties or some gatekeepers. We have direct access to what some of the largest, most successful, gigantic corporations had mere decades ago. And they had a budget and size and scale and power and leverage. But we now have the same, if not more, access to potential customers and the market than, or as they did mere decades ago. So you have power at your fingertips, but that's why it's important to know who you want to serve and then get to work finding them. Whether that's local or remote, it doesn't matter. Some comments here in the chat. Aaron says, word of mouth marketing is not always local. One of my favorite clients is in Hawaii while I am in California. Awesome. Nicola says, the most important advice to what to learn next. Oh, this is a different question. I'll get to that. Aaron says, and the developer I work with is in Australia. Exactly. In my business, at this stage of my business, where the majority of my focus is in products and productizing and scaling, and online education, and that's stage 4 of Freelancing Freedom. All of my clients are worldwide. So I have customers, students, I prefer to call them because I approach it differently. I approach from an education standpoint versus a you are my customer terminology. But the people who purchase my things, my customers, my students, are global. I have students who, I actually have a student in the same city as me. And I have a couple students in a nearby city. Most of them are in the United States, and across the pond in Europe and the United Kingdom. So really, if you're connected to this box in front of your face or this little device, you have access to a global market. So it's important to know who you want to serve. Okay. Mary Jo asks a question right here. I want to jump to Mary Jo. How do you deal with clients who disregard what you're saying, like dismissive of your explanation? I would think not to argue a point and pull back from them as a client. Okay, this is a good question. This is what's really great. You are in the power position. No matter what somebody else might think, you are in the power position. Some clients do not see it that way. It might be best for you not to associate with those clients. Now, it's up to you. You can. Some of us have clients who are a pain in the butt. But maybe it pays the bills. Maybe you prefer not to burn any bridges because that client is a direct connection to a series of other really nice clients. And this just happens to be a bad apple. So you're going to find it in yourself to have some grace with that person, maintain your professionalism, not be a doormat, but also be respectful. So there's a number of ways you can approach this. How do you deal with the clients who disregard what you're saying? Be honest with them. Try not to hurt their feelings. If someone who's dismissive of you, clearly they have their own issues, so they might be overly sensitive or not be receptive to your honesty. But it is important for you to know in your mind, and this will help you navigate the conversation and navigating who you want to work with. As Aaron just +1 in the comments, you don't need them, they need you. Harsh but true. That's my mindset. Exactly. You're the professional here. You're the business owner. You're the one solving the problem. They need you, not the other way around. If you see your customer, your client, as the person solving your problem, which is, I need to make money, or I need revenue, I need sales, then you've got a very shallow business model and you're not going to make it very far. They're not solving your problem. They could be mutually beneficial. That's ideal. You want to work with customers that you love. Ideally, at worst, you want to work with customers you can tolerate and are okay getting out of bed to serve. But you need to know that you're in the power position. You're solving the problem. So if someone is abusive of that and not be respectful, lay some boundaries. Go. I understand from what you're saying, but I feel as though that you're not hearing what it is that I'm saying. If you don't want to work with me, that's totally fine. I can point you in the direction of somebody who might be a better fit for you. But if you are willing to listen and understand from my perspective and my experience, I can really help you here. If that's not going to work, then we're not going to be a good fit. And you could say that in more or less, obviously craft it in a way that is respectful and works best for your particular relationship. Mary Jo says, nice. I can't believe they keep coming back even if they already know. Well, if they keep coming back, clearly they need you, but they have their own issue. So you're in the power position. Take the power position. Assume that role, and that will help you navigate your relationship with them. Let's see. Craig, set up my first domain and hosted it thanks to your walkthrough video. Awesome. I appreciate you letting me know that, Craig. That's awesome. I'm glad that I was able to help you. Let's go to another question here. Keep them coming at me, folks, because the responses here there were only a few in the form, and I know you got way more questions than that. So the third question here, let's see. Aaron says, so I have a pretty good grasp on how to work with outside developers, copywriters, SEO strategists. What I'm having trouble with is exactly how does working with a virtual assistant go, or even a subcontracted project manager. In my way of thinking, it seems like when you're the project manager, you are in control of the project. In my situation, though, I still want control of the project, but could definitely use a project manager so I could focus on the design, deliverables, and not so much the back and forth of emails and so on. What is the best practices when it comes to this kind of stuff? Okay, to understand the definitions of some of these things, good question, Aaron. I really appreciate you submitting that one. Aaron basically wants to know, how do you navigate the waters of hiring a team? A small team, a lean team, a virtual team, to help you scale and grow your efforts to relieve the load that you have on your shoulders as a freelancer, so that you could focus on what you do best and have other people take care of the rest. And that is very important to understand. Something that we all need to be doing, even in the early stages. So to answer your question here, let's start with the project manager. You said it seems like when you're the project manager, you are in control of the project. Yes and no. Think of it this way. You're going to need, regardless, when you hire a team member, you need to be able to trust them. You need to be able to feel confident in their ability. You need to be able to feel confident in their instincts and their choices. So for somebody like a project manager, it's a very important role. It's the person who's going to be doing the communication with your client, relaying information to you, or delegating. This person has a vital role in your business. And it's not somebody that you should just pass off onto anybody. I've been bitten by this in the past. One time, you had my web developer, subcontracted web developer. I had him project manage and develop one of the projects. And I thought, oh, it'd be totally fine. He's decent to communicate with. I'm sure he'd be fine. But that came back and bit me in the butt. The client ended up coming back to me and going, what is this person doing? They're not getting back to my emails. They're not communicating clearly. They're super unprofessional. And I really don't like talking to them. Can I just talk to you? And it really backfired and made me look bad. So I learned from that lesson. And so I was going through for convenience there versus knowing if he was right for the role. And I did it a second time and had what I thought was a good fit for a project manager. And I got a phone call from a particularly picky client, but still a client nonetheless, saying, I do not like this person. This is what they said. This is what they did. And it makes you look really bad. And that my stomach dropped. I was just like, I had a lump in my throat. It was really difficult news. So I learned from that lesson as well. It's very difficult to find the right project manager to manage your projects because they are very important. So it might not be the easiest role to find right away. But that's where understanding, developing a relationship with somebody, interviewing. I'm not saying go and make friends with lots of people and then see who's the best project manager. You could find specifically people who are looking to be project managers and have them interview them, ask them questions, and see if you can read between the lines to understand if they have the right instincts. If this is somebody who is a self-starter and who could be a really good public face and communicator for your business. Now, that's what you would see for the students of Freelancing Freedom. You're very familiar with Alea. Alea has assumed the role of my business manager, my online business manager, and also assumes the role with her team of assistants. So she has assistants who assist me in my business, and she happens to be my business manager. So, and that wasn't something that I just, jumped in right away. It was a process where I started to go, oh, wow, this person's a really good self-starter. I can trust this person with this. And slowly out of my own, past experiences, slowly letting go of the reins on certain pieces and slowly delegating more and more responsibility to the point where I can go, okay, I could trust this person with these parameters and then kind of let them run free and do what they do best so that I can do my best as well. Alea says taking her certification in project management in January, thanks to Brad. Just had to throw that out there. I might be missing part of the conversation. Oh, Alea. No, I'm missing something. Aaron wants to know what Alea's rates are. This is funny. Yeah, so Alea's essentially my project manager, but in a kind of a different capacity. Not project manager. She doesn't manage projects. She actually manages a lot of the business. So getting back to your question there, Aaron, finding the right VA project manager is a process, and it's something that you shouldn't take lightly and shouldn't just hire based on convenience or because they have a low price. This person is probably your most expensive team member, to be honest. So that should give you an idea that, it's not somebody you just kind of hand off some stuff to. Now, to answer another part of the question, you said it seems like when you're the project manager, you're in control of the project. So, and you said, I want to control the project. Here's where you need to understand. You are the business owner. You are the director. You oversee it all. The project manager is a manager. So when you own a restaurant and you are the owner, you are the one in the who has the ultimate direction of that restaurant. And you have a manager relieve you of responsibilities that you shouldn't be doing or you don't have time for, or you could find somebody else who's really good at managing. They manage your staff, they manage the projects, they manage and oversee operations. You direct the ship. So you're not relinquishing your responsibility and going, oh, but what if this person does the wrong thing? That's your job to find the right person who has your best interests at heart and has the right instincts. And you steer the ship. They manage the operation. Or in this case, the project. And so that, hopefully that relieves you from any worry there. If you want to be the project manager, that's okay. So in the past, I've flip-flopped and I was the project manager and relayed everything. And I had a team build the thing. So a designer and a developer. And then I managed the project, which was less manual work for me. So I could manage a few projects. But I've also been on the other side where I was the designer or the developer and I had somebody doing one of the other two things. Aaron says, would the project manager be the one to consult the client on additional consulting? You can lay the parameters with your project manager to say, if your conversations with the client start to go outside of these parameters that I've given you responsibility for, talk to me. And I will either relay information to you so that you can learn my process and the answers to my questions, or I will step in. So you determine the scope of what that person's responsibility is so that they understand this is not my territory. I'm going to consult with Aaron, the director of the business, the owner of the business, and I'll let him let me know what to do so I can know how to do this in the future, or say, this is Aaron's territory. I've forwarded you on to Aaron. He'll take care of it for you. Aaron, my fear would be that a project manager would quote the wrong hour price for something. And this is where being crystal clear on everything. Outline what you might think, what all these scenarios, all these worst case and best case and edge case scenarios might be, so that your project manager has a standard operating procedure. The client asks something about out of scope. So they can go, okay, out of scope. Oh, this is what Aaron wants me to do or say. These are the steps that Aaron wants me to follow. Oh, the client is asking about, pushing back the deadline. What do I have to say about that? You create a crystal clear standard operating procedure for that person. And as you grow with them and they get more experience with you, they understand how it works so that they might not need to refer to the standard operating procedure, or they might help you tweak that standard operating procedure because they get to see on the ground what it is that your client is asking. And they can go, Aaron, the client, I've noticed a pattern at this point in the project, the clients start asking X, Y, and Z. I think that we should create a system and a flow that addresses these so that when it comes up at the next project, because it always does, we should do these things. And you go, wow, you are a really good self-starter. And that was helpful. Thank you. Let's do that. So, Aaron, I hope that helps with specifically the project manager. Honestly, that's the most important. Here's a good book that you should look up. I'll grab it here. Is it backwards? No, it's good. Virtual Freedom by Chris Ducker. And it's how to work with virtual staff to buy more time, become more productive, and build your dream business. Now, to be fair, I mean, he is in my opinion, one of the go-to guys for authorities for hiring virtual staff. That said, there are a number of resources that are really good and really helpful. It's just he helps lay the parameters of what you should be looking for. One of the things he says, one of his mottos is, don't hire for the task, hire for the role. I believe I might be misquoting him, but I'm pretty sure that's the point. Hire for the role, not the task. And that means you're not looking for someone to do a specific task and you're just hiring for that task and then they're just kind of like a throwaway virtual assistant. You want somebody who can fill a role that encompasses a number of tasks. I also know that Alea is also a growing authority in the virtual assistant business. I'm going to, there we go. Alea just linked up that book there. But Alea is also an authority in the virtual assistant realm, because not only is she one herself, but she is educating people on that as well and has her own virtual assistants. So we have an abundance of resources on this. Aaron says, your answer has given me a bit more confidence in approaching this PM VA role. Cool. So check out the book. Don't hesitate to ask questions and approach this slowly and confidently. But I think that this is a really good start for you and anyone who's considering hiring a virtual assistant. Okay. Now, folks, please ask some more questions because you have my time and I don't want to cut this off prematurely if I don't have to, but I have reached those are the only 3 specific questions that were asked in the form. I'd love more questions. You have me here, ask away. It could be in the comments here, or it could be in the form, whatever is easiest for you. If you want it to be anonymous, you could throw it in the form. If you don't care about that, put it in the chat. Let's see. Okay, so there's a question here from Tara. Tara asks, hey Brad, I'm more interested in starting my own digital product business than a freelancing business. The digital product biz isn't related to my freelancing. And while I love the flexibility that freelancing gives me, both time and location to pursue opportunities for my true passion, I find it difficult to do the hard work of building up a freelancing business while simultaneously building a digital product business. And my heart just isn't in the freelancing. Any advice? Absolutely. I would like to ask you some questions about this if you feel comfortable and if you are here to clarify some things. What do you do as a freelancer? What you said you don't really like the freelancing, and you said that you like the flexibility and the freedom that it gives you, but it's not your true passion. So what is your freelance business that it is not your passion? And if you don't mind me asking, what is your passion and what is this digital product business that you are trying to create? And I have reasons for asking that question. Because I'm of the mindset that you should start with service. First of all, what are your passions? What are you good at? Start there. Who do you want to serve? Who's your audience? Who are the people that you love to be around, that you would love to dedicate your business to? And how could you serve them? And I literally mean that. What kind of service can you provide to them? The reason why that's important is because I'm not asking you to go and write blog posts every day for 3 years and then hopefully get some traffic and then hopefully get some email subscribers and then eventually you build a course and then maybe one day you can make a sale and then hopefully, just hopefully, you can now make lots of money as a blogger. I think that is people skipping the line and not understanding that freelancing and online business and consulting and creating an online course or a digital product business or becoming an author, it's all in the same realm. So Tara says, I mostly do copywriting and website development for a variety of clients. I would love to work with authors, but they usually don't have much income. Okay, so you are approaching it from a skill. You are doing copywriting and website development for a variety of clients. That's great. You don't really like it. You're not that passionate about it, but it does free up some income for you to pursue the author niche and serving them. What you need to figure out is what kind of the digital product business directly deals with authors. So you want to serve authors. So why aren't you serving authors? Because right now you are copywriting, but you're building your business just around a skill, but you didn't tie in what you love and who you love. You just You just have your skill and you're just getting whoever is going to hire you for that skill. And that will become draining for anybody here. So you're a web developer, you are, a coach, a consultant, you do, one-on-one service work, maybe you're in HR or you build stuff. But if you only build your business just on that, then you're just getting people to hire you based on your skill. Then you don't know, you might work with someone you don't like, you might work with someone you do, but you have no clear definition of your business other than the skill and that you are for hire, you're a hired gun. But what I'm saying is freelancing and this online business world, it's all in the same realm. You get to choose who you serve, how you serve them, who you serve and how you serve them, and how you go about building a business around that. So I think just creating a course for authors, that's just as vague and probably not as fulfilling as what you're doing right now. So what you need to understand is what kind of authors, who are your authors? Who are those people? Get crystal clear on the people, on the group, on the audience that you want to affect, that you want to serve. And find out what is keeping them up at night. What hurts them? What is their problem? And you're going to hear me say these things over and over again. This is advice and information that you can get everywhere, but it can't be said enough. It's so simple. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it's simple. Who do you want to serve? Who are those people? And you need to be clear on that, not just authors, because you could be an author of a business advice book. You could be an author of adult novels. You could be an author of education materials for high school students. You can be an author of fiction and in subcategories of that. That's a really, really, really broad, almost as broad, it might as well be, as I just write things for people. So find a way, and it's easy, it's simple rather, focus on those authors. And then once you focused, you said here fantasy, sci-fi, horror authors to be more specific, especially in the indie space. Okay, there are a lot of indie authors, and there are, if you go indie, fantasy, sci-fi, horror authors, now you've got a pocket. Now, to find out if it's viable, which it's a global audience, it's likely that it's likely a viable audience for you. But you need to understand what hurts them. What keeps them up at night? What do they truly desire? What do they drool over? What is it that they could wish? What is it that they wish they could have so much that they would almost do anything for it? What is that? And what is that common thread? And there is something. It is there. And I couldn't tell you with confidence what it is right now. That's your job. You need to find that out. Because I know you said they don't have a lot of money, but there are successful businesses out there serving people who don't have a lot of money. You just have to get creative with what you offer, and you have to solve what it is that really, really hurts them and help them get to where they want to be. They don't want to not have a lot of money. They actually want to be successful. They want to be better. They want to create their work and build a life and a business around what it is that they want. They don't want to be poor. They want to succeed. But you need to figure out what it is that keeps them up at night, what hurts them, what their problem is, and find out how you can help them. And now I'm not saying by just creating a course, because you said they don't have money to buy it. They don't know who you are yet. You haven't established your authority. The back door to that is actually just facing it head on and serving them. So there's no real secret or silver magic bullet here. It's not just creating a course and putting ads on it and hoping your SEO is good and then finally the authors will come. If you build it, they will come. That's false. Serve them. Start with value. Lead with value. And serve them as a freelancer does. But now you're passionate about it. So associate with that group. Now that you know who they are, you want to associate with them. You want to find out who they are, how they speak, what do they want, what do they desire, what are their problems, what keeps them up at night. Associate with them. Be a part of them. Be one with that group. Become them. And lead with value. If you see common questions they have, start creating some content around that. Start writing some weekly content, answering their questions that they specifically ask in those groups, in those physical meetups. Create a video on it. Create free and tremendously valuable resources for them to solve their problem or to get closer to it. You're going to start looking like an authority. You're going to begin to be that resource. And you're not asking for anything. You're just helping them. You're serving them because you want to, because you love that group, because you want to see them succeed. And you want to be the obvious go-to space for that person, for that group. And help them with your service, whether that's through writing, you're a good writer, through helping them write, through giving them ideas, finding out what it is that they need and giving it to them. And then as you grow that, then you can use the same principles that I'm talking about in Freelancing Freedom in this new version that we are building. Developing your minimum viable service. It applies in this case. Systemizing your services. Productizing your services, and then elevating from there. So some comments on this. Tara says, okay, no, hold up. Right, I think I was so scared that I couldn't work with indie authors. I was warned away from low-income clients, but I didn't even try to work with them. Thanks, Brad. This is super encouraging. I'm going to approach freelancing again from this angle. Much more excited now. Exactly. And you can still take on clients. Maybe you can find a way that you can provide your expertise in the form of the skills that you have. How can you align those things? Is there a pocket for that you can help them? You can partner with them. You can hire them as a client in some way, shape, or form. There are ways to do this. And specifically with the indie authors or low income clients, there's still a way to serve them. And if you can get them to where they want to be, they will pay anything for it. And I'm not saying that to exploit them, because that's not okay. But if you can help them solve their biggest problem, overcome their biggest fear, make their life easier, and let them take leaps and bounds closer to their desires and their hopes, their dreams, doesn't matter what the price is or the time commitment or the effort, because that's what they want. And if you can give that to them, then you win and they win. Alea says, I found that I was not as ready to productize as I thought. I'm scaling back on the products I'm releasing so they correspond with my audience's needs and where my business is. Yes. The products come out of what it is that your clients, what you realize your clients need from your service. And I'm not saying from your HTML or from your copywriting or from your SEO wizardry. I'm talking about your service. When someone says, how can I serve you? When you are serving them, you are providing value to them selflessly to get them to where that they want or need to be. And that doesn't go unnoticed, especially if you do it with love and passion and it's your vocation. If it comes from that angle, it's very clear that you're in it to win it, you're in it to help them. And if you add value, you solve their problems, they will come back to you every single time and they will tell their friends about you. And the products and the courses, those things come out of you understanding who you serve, how you serve them, and how well you serve them, and what it is that they need from you, so that you can start stepping away from just doing one-on-one every single time and deliver something to them that you can scale. It's not just, how do I create my great online course? If you start with service and you take the barbecue method, the low, slow, the understanding route versus the what's the quick and dirty way I can just quickly put up a website, throw some SEO, throw some Facebook ads, and develop an online course around my passion. Me. It's the wrong approach. And maybe you might have some quick wins that can misguide you and make you feel like you're doing the right thing. But if you go the right approach, if you take service as your guiding light, and you know with certainty what it is that you want for your business and for that person, then you can start making some really big decisions. Is this making sense? Bond says, or Leah says, the more I learn while providing services, the better the products will be. Exactly. If you prematurely develop a product, you might get lucky, but that's not a great strategy. If you start with service and you're lean and you're going the minimum viable service route, if you're following it and you are serving your clients in real time, one-on-one, you're understanding who they are, what they need, how you can help them, and you do that enough, you start to go, I know what I could do for them. I got it. Okay, let's flesh this out a bit more. So I'm not saying because you want to create the online, you're the digital product kind of route, that this isn't for you. This is why I'm restructuring what freelancing freedom is. Because people before would say, no, see, I actually want to be a blogger and I want to create a really great online course and start podcasting. So freelancing isn't for me. I tried it before and I hate web design. And I go, I'm communicating the wrong thing. Yes, I want to help web designers get clients, but that's not my mission, my vocation. I have something very clear to offer, and this new shift is me trying to align myself from my service that I provided the last few years doing freelancing freedom to be more clear on what it is that I can offer. And that's what I want you to do. It's what I want everyone to do. I don't want you to think that, you're either a freelancer or you're either an online passive income business owner. Doesn't work that way. They are in the same realm. A freelancer isn't freelance web designer. A freelancer can be many terms, and it's defined in different ways. And it's somebody in effect who is somebody essentially who works for themselves, is not tied to a specific business or corporation other than their own, and they are a free agent to do what it is that they want to do in life and in business. Freelancing freedom. That means the freedom to become a freelancer or the freedom to elevate beyond just freelancing. That's what freelancing freedom is. That's why I'm trying to help you elevate from where you are right now. Whether you're just starting and you want that first service-based client, or you are elevating into a more scaled approach. It's freedom at each step. Okay, so let me see here. We got some awesome chat going on in here. I want to try and catch up. Bond says, hey Brad, I build messenger chatbots. I signed up to Upwork to start my freelancing journey, but I found that a lot of people are ready to work for like $3 per hour and I don't know how to deal with that. Do not do Upwork. Do not do Upwork. Unless you were hiring somebody on Upwork to be a virtual assistant of yours or to help you accomplish a small task or fill a small role, you shouldn't be trying to get work on Upwork. I am telling you now, that is not going to work for you. So Bond, I mean, this is why I'm doing these office hours live and letting the public in on it to see, what's happening here in freelancing freedom, because I'm trying to change what people think freelancing is. Because when people think freelancing, they think freelancer.com or Upwork or Fiverr, and that's not, I'm talking high level, taking your own route, becoming a premium consultant, providing one of a kind, valuable solutions to the people that you love. Not how do I become the most commoditized hired gun on the internet, and how many $5 jobs can I take on in a day? Not interested. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, a 100-foot pole, a 1,000-pixel pole. Let's see. Aurelian. Hey Aurelian, I hope I got your name right. Hey Brad, I had some low-paying clients, low quality. I understand a little bit of how to do this, though I don't earn $1K a month off this. WordPress sites should be enough, right? I guess it would still be beneficial to take your courses. Would you explain a little bit, how does this look in 5 weeks and how we'll get the benefit one by one? Also, my skill isn't that great. Still learning web app development. Think your course on freelancing would be good for me to take. Yeah. My answer to that, Aurelian, is if you want to start a business that is not just based on you and your skill, but is only a part of that segment of What do you love? Who do you love? As the second one. And what can you do to help them? So it's combining your skills and your strengths, which could be web development or WordPress or human resources or communication or, virtual assistant expertise. That's just a thing. That's just a skill you have. That's the strengths that you bring to the table. You also want to know, what is it that you're passionate about? And what do you want to be able to create? What's that mission? What is that higher level vision of something that you could wake up every day and spend your time doing? And who do you want to serve? And then understanding from there, what do they struggle with? What keeps them up at night? And how can you solve that problem using your passion and your skills, your strengths? Putting these together is if that's something that interests you, versus just being a cheap hired gun on the internet so that you could just make some side cash. If you want to take the route of building a business that matters, that isn't easy but can level you up and take you and elevate you in each stage of your life, then that's what Freelancing Freedom is about. It's not easy. It's not a one click, you go in and you generate a business model and, you just throw it on your online course rack to gather dust. I'm actually looking to change some lives here. So that's why I have generous refund policies, but I also want to be very clear on what I'm offering. It may not very well be for you if you don't want to put in the hard work and if you don't want to actually try and figure out who you want to serve, what you want to do with your life, and what you bring to the table, how you can tie that all together. That's what Freelancing Freedom is all about. I do have a course that would be a good start for you right now, which is at freelancingfreedom.com. There's a free workshop there for you to see if it's even a good fit, to understand what I have to say. And then you can join Freelancing Freedom Essentials after that, if you so desire. If it's not a good fit for you, if you don't feel like it's going to work, you can get a refund within 30 days. That's what I got to say on that. Let me see. Some more questions. Aaron Robertson, steakhouse freelance, not fast food freelance. Exactly. I want you to be, and not even just steakhouse, a specific kind of steakhouse for a specific kind of person. I'm not talking like big chain, the keg. These are the term that I was thinking about the other day was general giants. You don't want to be competing with the general giants. So having a general service, a general I am open for business sign, and then you're next door to the general giant. They have more power, more flexibility, more leverage, more capital, and more connections than you ever will. And they're going to eat you up. So you just don't swim in the pool with the general giants. You find your own pool that's small enough to build a business, small enough to have people pay attention to you as you serve them, so specific, but large enough that you can build a viable and profitable business around it. Craig, I'm 46, only been coding for 4 months. My biggest fear is finding a client and getting over my head. Just chip away at it, Craig. Getting over the fear of getting a client and jumping in. The way you get over the fear of getting a client is get a client. Put yourself out there. Let people know that what you do and who you do it for, and that you're taking on clients. If you join my freelancing workshop at freelancingfreedom.com, I do a challenge in the first 15 minutes that in many cases gets people their first client. And that is how you get over that fear, by jumping straight in with 2 feet. If you've been coding for 4 months, you should have enough ability to solve a basic problem for a basic client. That is guaranteed. I had been coding for 2 months and only knew HTML, CSS, and I had my first $600 client. So there's no excuses, and I didn't know anything at the time other than a couple months of college coding. So you know more than I did when I first got my first client. The fear is in your head. The way to get over it is to jump in and work with the client and realize they're not going to think you're a fraud because they're a basic client. They're looking for somebody basic. It's okay to be basic at first, and you're going to level up from there. Dave, hey Brad, in terms of WordPress workflow, instead of self-managing hosting, which what do you suggest? You know what, Dave? It doesn't really matter. specifically because the context of this office hours is about freelancing and building a business. So that's just a detail. Don't get caught up in the details. I get a lot of people asking me like specific coding or technical questions, or even billing or software, what software or what tool, what technique, what process, those can be conversations for other times. But my go-to answer for those types of questions is you're focusing too much on the details. You can't see the forest for the trees. You got your head in here and you can't see what's going on around you because it doesn't matter. Whatever solves the problem for you, whatever gets the job done in the quickest, most efficient manner, whatever helps your client get to where they need to be, that's the thing you go with. Doesn't matter if it's expensive or cheap, as long as it's the one that gets them there and it's the right choice. There you go. Aaron, getting it over your head is the best way to learn. I agree. Craig, I'm just afraid I can't deliver what they want after I sell myself. You first need to understand what it is that they want, and then let them understand what they want. You're not going to find a client and get hired by a client, most likely, that is going to ask so much of you that you are unable to do it, because they're looking for people in a different range, a different category. You're not there yet. But if it's just a site with some functionality or a project with some scope that you don't quite know how to do yet, you'll figure it out. Figure it out as you go. That's what research is for. That's what community is for. That's what jumping in and making mistakes is for. They're looking for a basic client. They're going to have basic expectations. Even if it's outside of your scope, you should always push yourself. So I understand if you're afraid, but jump in, figure it out as you go. But don't take something on you don't want to take on. If it's outside of your scope and you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you want to do it, but you're afraid, do it. Let me see here. I have a couple more minutes here, so this is great. I'm glad that you guys were able to ask some more questions for me here. I appreciate that. So I'll answer a couple more things and then I'll let you go. Oh wow, more questions in the thing. How do you convince a potential client to hire you? Is portfolio enough to get a gig? No, don't do portfolios. Not at this stage. Portfolio is an excuse. Is an excuse that they think, oh, what about my website? My website needs to be so good. It needs to show I'm so good. It needs to look so professional because that's how people hire you. No, that's how people compare you to other people. And when you are compared to other people, and especially if you're just general, then my friend, you are in for a rough ride. So the portfolio is a tool that can help you at a certain stage. It's an addition. It is not fundamental. How you communicate to a client, developing a solution, and then getting to the chase, talking to the person, understanding who they are and who you want to help and how you're going to help them based on what keeps them up at night. That's your best portfolio. Next to a testimonial. If you have a friend or a colleague or a past client who you've helped, there you go. That's a better portfolio piece than a beautiful templatized WordPress site with all of your flashy graphics and stuff. So that's my answer to that. Can you tell us the dates when Freelancing Freedom will be open to new students in 2019? David, that's a good question. I don't have the dates as of right now because I'm in this process of rebuilding the entire offering of what Freelancing Freedom is. Currently, there are 2 Freelancing Freedom courses, Essentials and Masterclass. But I am working on, in public and with the students, developing a brand new set of offerings, which might turn out to be 4 individual courses based on the 4 stages of Freelancing Freedom: launching, systemizing, productizing, and elevating beyond that, scaling. So I couldn't tell you when we're going to be opening, but I'm hoping in the early new year I can have something to ship. But it will be different from what it is right now. And better. I could tell you that. Let's see here. Transparency is a great policy, says Aaron. Letting the client know it's out of your realm and expertise, but you're more than capable of finding a third-party contractor to help. Yes, you could take that route. Let them know if they say, this is what I need you to do. Can you do that? you can say, you know what, I've actually never approached that specific scenario before, but if you're confident in that you can figure out a solution, you go, but I'm confident that I can figure that out for you. No problem. It's going to take a bit of research and work on my end, but that's not your problem. That's for me to figure out for you. So I can do that. You know, you can be honest, or you could say, yeah, I'll figure it out. We'll solve the problem for you. Part of your job as a business owner is to be creative and figure out solutions, even if you've never done them before. Let's see. Aurelian, I have a UK bank account. Don't want to pay 23% Polish tax because I don't even live here. Oh, that's... Wait, I got currently located in Poland. Why do I have to pay VAT taxes? That's just the protocol for online orders and the shipping and payment processor I use. It's part of the laws that you guys have over there. You got to get taxed. You got to pay your taxes because that's the way that you guys have it over there. So it's just part of the protocol that I have to follow. Thank you for the advice. Says Craig. You're very welcome. Thanks for the answer, says David. You're very welcome. Let me see. One more. I have time for one more. Let me see if there's anything happening in here. Cool. You said that I shouldn't do Upwork or any freelance site. What do you recommend? Building your own business. Understanding who you want to serve, how you want to serve them. Understanding who you want to serve, what they struggle with, what keeps them up at night, and how you could develop a solution for them. And that might not be coding websites. Maybe you're not that passionate about just coding websites. Maybe there's a specific type of development that you really love, and you can align that with solving a specific problem. But you need to understand who you want to build your business around, what hurts them, how you can help them, and then find a way to do that for them. Okay. Shovely Joe says, very inspiring. Thanks, Brad. Thank you. This is great. My friends, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you hanging out with me for an hour. I really am appreciative of you being here. I'm going to get going now because it is, I've been closing in on an hour, so I want to be respectful of your time. But we do these live office hours each week, every Thursday. It is open to the public to view, and I do answer some of the public's questions once I get through the questions of the actual students in the course because they're a priority. But I do this so that you can see what it is that I'm doing with Freelancing Freedom, so that you can see with complete transparency the value that I can offer and if I am or if I am not for you. So coming next Thursday, we're here next Thursday, I believe, unless it's, let me see. Yeah, next Thursday we're good. It's the 27th. Come next Thursday, same time, same place. It might be a different time, but you'll see it'll be a live schedule on YouTube here in the same place. If anyone's interested in joining Freelancing Freedom or getting started with us, freelancingfreedom.com, we do have some free resources to get started, including a free workshop that has convenient times for you to join up and see if we're a good fit for you. Other than that, I appreciate you. See you next week at Thursday. Come with your questions. The link is below with the form to submit your questions. I really appreciate you. Have an amazing weekend. God bless you, and go out and make something, build your business, get started, and I would love to be a part of that. So thank you. Catch you later, and have a good one. Bye now.